What's up?
Hey guys, so before we get started with the video, so these were a lot of characters I had to go over. It took me a while to like edit all this together, and it's like a lot of hours of footage I had to go through because of how many characters there was. So I've decided to split this up into 2 videos. So this is going to be part 1, it has, you know, half the characters or whatever. I'll have everything in the description, all the timestamps, and then I will release later on a part 2 that covers the rest of the characters. So without further ado, let's jump in. What's up guys? Welcome to another video. So in this video, I'm going to be going over all the patch notes that just came out. So I'm mainly just going to be going over like the universal stuff, and then most of the video is going to be focused on like the character specific changes. Now there's a lot of changes that they did. Literally every single character has at least like minimum 4 or 5, and a lot of them have like, you know, 10 things. So this is definitely going to be a longer video. I mean, just I went through all the patch stuff myself just so I know what they're doing before I start recording, and that took me like 2 or 3 hours just to go through each character. So this will be a long video. Timestamps will be in the description, as well as a link to the patch notes will also be in the description. Now so far in Aftermath, I did play through the story today, and I did do a little bit of labbing for, you know, each of the new characters. So I'm going to be doing some, you know, impression videos of each characters later on, probably coming out tomorrow or the next couple days once I lab them a little bit more and have a better understanding of like how they play. But I think it's most important to cover all the patch notes because there's a whole bunch of different changes with the whole armor break system and everything, so I think this is more important to get out as soon as possible. So without further ado, let's start with some of the universal changes. So just so you guys know, I'm just gonna go in order the patch notes from like each line, same thing for each character. So if you want to have like the patch notes open like while I'm going through the video so you can read what I'm reading, I think that'll make it a little bit easier if you want to do that. So general stuff, not really a big deal. Moveless corrections, okay. AI logic, nobody really cares. Some new brutalities, those are always cool, those are a lot of fun. Like fatalities get boring after a while, so new brutalities are always welcome. They did some stuff with practice. They added now a breakaway tutorial, because like every character now has like an armor breaker move, and they all like do various different things. Some do crushing blows, some do whatever combos or whatever, so it has a tutorial for that, which is cool. Okay, this is a good one. Right stick inputs no longer are scanned when performing combo attacks. So basically there was a glitch to where if you press the right stick, which doesn't do anything in this game, but if you press it like in the middle of a string, the rest of the string like won't come out. So it's actually a very good thing they fixed, because it actually would mess up combos and stuff like that if you accidentally tap that button. So that's a good fix. At least they fixed that glitch. Alright, they added more options to practice mode for breakaway, which is good, because now you can make them breakaway fast, delayed, late, or whatever. Yeah, so the rest of this practice mode stuff and just various bug fixes or whatever, you guys could read through that. And this one, it mentions, which we're going to go through it as we go through the patch notes, it says all down plus front punch attacks can now be both high and low parried. Now I don't know what down plus front punch means, but most of the attacks that I've noticed are like down ones, or alternate versions of down ones can now be parried. A lot of characters have that in their notes, but we'll go through it as we go through each character. And then this one's interesting. It says when a breakaway is performed, damage scaling is reset to a fixed value instead of a multiplier on the current combo damage scaling. So what I'm assuming that means is, since you're able to, you know, do armor break moves or whatever, like when you do them, like it doesn't have scaling from like the previous combo or whatever. So it allows you to do more damage when you do like armor break combos and stuff like that. Alright, next part is combat league stuff, you know, fixed minor stability improvements, some desync issue. And then they let you get salty run back. So if somebody beats you in a set and you're upset and you're mad about it, then you can just play them right away again if they let you, which they still might not let you, but at least you have the option to maybe rematch the opponent if you're, you know, salty or whatever. So that's good. You get your salty run back. Alright, next one is Tower of Time. Nobody cares about Towers of Time. If you guys do, you guys can just read it yourself. I'm not going to even go over that. Alright, stage specific adjustments. Some of them are not a big deal. But the one that's good, it's cool, like it says amplified background interactions are no longer throw invincible. So basically if they use amplify to try to get out of the corner using those interactables, you can throw them out of it. So that's good. Alright, so now to the good stuff, the character specific adjustments. They literally touched every single character. This is the biggest patch they've ever done, so bear with me guys. Alright, so first thing with Baraka, lunging blade now does 90 damage instead of 70. Let's see what lunging blade is. Okay, that's this one, back 2. So basically the overhead does a little bit more damage. I mean, that's decent, why not? I mean, the overhead was always safe on block anyway, right? Yeah, -5, so whatever, a little bit more rewarding. Alright, this one says straight shank, which is basically, I don't think is in this variation. It's basically in his Marauder variation where he has his down 1 that has like the little spike that comes out so it gets additional range. It says that can be low and high parried. Like I said before, it's going to be a recurring thing. There were some moves that couldn't be parried, it seemed like. Or maybe they couldn't be parried by high parries like Scarlet's high parry, and now they can be parried, so that's cool. Now this one says blade charge breaks armor and then it causes a crushing blow when you do. So his blade charge, I'm going to show you, it's this move right here. So I'm going to have Cassie break away and this is what would happen. Because the crushing blow requirement for this was kind of ridiculous. It triggers if the opponent blocks late. And the opponent blocking late, like any block late crushing blow basically never happens. So at least they gave this one an actual way you can use it. And you're also going to notice this is also a recurring theme. A lot of the crushing blows that are normally almost impossible to get or very unlikely, you can get them via armor break, which is actually very smart by NRS. They actually did something smart for once, which I like that. And the other two things were like fixed an issue with Lake Kabuto, something about it being improperly placed, and then it fixed some issue with this move called stock that has to do with trading or whatever. And that brings me to another thing you're going to notice as a recurring theme. A lot of moves that could be used as anti-airs, they fixed something to where it says it trades less often, which basically means it will be a better anti-air. Alright, anyway, so moving on to Cassie Cage. Now Cassie Cage, when I first saw this first one, let me read it to you. Victim region while ducking slightly increased, which that means when she's ducking, her hitbox isn't as low as it used to be, it's a little bit higher. So then I went into training mode, I picked Johnny Cage, I did 4-3-4-4 into enhanced fireballs, which that jails on male opponents, and it still whiffs on Cassie Cage, so I'm not sure what that actually even did. But that still whiffs on Cassie Cage. But yeah, basically from what I've seen and what I looked at, doesn't really change anything. Cassie's hurt box is still a female hurt box. Nice and low. Okay, so this one is amazing. Get up flawless block attack now starts up in 9 frames. So her up to starts up in 9 frames, recovers 4 frames faster, and has a better hit reaction. So that means it's actually usable. So let me show you an example. Did you all see that? I was able to combo with Cassie's flawless block up to mid-screen. That used to be almost impossible, if not impossible. Even in the corner, it was such a difficult conversion. And now they actually made it usable. Like, finally, NRS. It only took you a year, but finally, I can actually play Cassie and use the flawless block mechanic. That's an amazing buff. She was already a good character, but she could not use the flawless block mechanic properly, and now she actually can, so that is amazing. Now this next one, I don't even know what it really means. It says it adjusted the hit region of flipping out, and now it has 13 less recovery frames, so I guess this has like less recovery, so that's good. And 10 more frames of block stun with reduced block pushback. So it seems like they made the move better. It has more block stun, but doesn't have as much pushback. I mean, this move is already kind of whatever. It serves no real purpose, honestly, but whatever. They buffed it, I guess. This next one, they said the Ball Buster can now be parried by lower high parries, so basically another fix to the parry system. Okay, the next buffs are for her third variation, so let's switch to that one. So this next buff is pretty cool. So this move right here, the little escape thing she had in her Sub-So D, they made it cost defensive bar for no apparent reason, even though at the time they had Jacqui's crap, it cost no defensive bar and upgraded. But whatever. So they made this one actually not cost anything because it's not even all that good, because, you know, she could just do this and get anti-aired really easily. But at least now she has an option to like escape or whatever, so that's good. Okay, the next one, her flying glow kick, which is this one here. So this used to do only 60 damage. Now it does 80, so that's pretty cool. and the move actually had like a really significant buff. We will get to that in a second, but now it's actually amazing. So made this move also break armor, which is pretty godlike. So let me have him break away. And it gets the crushing blow like that. Because normally the crushing blow, I mean, it wasn't that hard to do. Yeah, the crushing blow was a counter or a punish. So now you can actually get it for breaking armor. So that's really good. And also, guess what? This move can be comboed into fatal blow on hit. So you can do crap like this. Ain't that freaking cool? That's amazing. That's actually freaking cool. I've never seen anything like that before. There's no other special move in this game that cancels into freaking fatal blow, so that's awesome. And this one is interesting. They said they adjusted the peak height of the fatal blow and to hit more consistently, and the startup and active frames are the same as the grounded version. Because the grounded version is pretty quick, and the air version was pretty slow as well, but if you notice, it's actually a lot faster. So in certain combos that you can do Digital Soldier, you can do like, you know, the shots or whatever, jump kick into fatal blow, but that used to only work on certain characters. Now it should work on all characters, so that's really good. And then the other 3 patches are just visual issues, so nothing really special there. Okay, so now Cetrion and Devora. So for Cetrion, her stand 1 used to be +3, but now it is only -1. Let's go. Screw you Cetrion players. No more bullshit plus frames. Like her stand 1 should have never been +3. That was like, why? It should have never been that, but now they finally made it how it should be. A decent stagger, not a godlike stagger. -1 is still good, so good job NRS. I'm proud of you. And in this next one, I don't really know what this means. It's going to say this in a lot of different patch notes. It says, it adjusted the opponent's victim region during the hit reaction of Turning Wave. And Turning Wave, that's this move. So it says it changes the victim region during hit. So it doesn't seem like it increased the distance from what it says. It says it increased the victim region once it hit. So maybe it does mean it increased the distance. That could be what it means. Or what I think it means is it extends their hitbox once they get hit, and it makes it more likely for the follow-up to hit. Like, I've never seen this follow-up for this particular string ever whiff, but you're gonna see this as a recurring theme for like other normal. It says it adjusts the victim's region of during the hit reaction of a certain moves. So I'm assuming it means the follow-up hits of the rest of the strings are more likely to connect. So I'm just gonna go with that assumption. If it actually means something else, just let me know in the comments. Okay, so they made Deadly Winds do like an extra hit. You notice it does an extra little hit before the winds actually come out. That's new, and that little hit is what her armor break is. So I noticed they give armor break to the variations that are not really utilized that much to try to make them more incentivized to be used. So we'll see if that actually happens, but let me show you how this one actually looks. So you saw how that broke armor, and that led to a +12 restand, so that's really good. Okay, so her next one is in her first variation, so it makes this Shadow Boulder or whatever do 90 damage, and it used to do 70. So again, this is another variation that no one really uses because it's kind of meh, so they made it a little bit better, so that's cool. Now this next one, I'm assuming it's a custom move because I can't even find it. It says Hollowing Winds can result in Boulder Bash, causing an incorrect hit reaction. I looked through all 3 variations. I didn't find anything named Hollowing Winds. So that's probably a custom move. I mean, they did edit some custom moves for sure that I know of. So I couldn't find that one. And then the next one is like Deadly Winds, some visual issue, and the Elemental Ring, another lingering visual issue. So that's about it for Cetrion. Okay, so for Devora, they buffed her damage in a lot of her strings. So her first one is Recluse, which is this string here that she does, yeah, this one. So basically, it made the last part of it do more damage. The last part alone used to do 80 damage, now it does 90 damage, so that's alright, that's cool. Okay, so they made Bugging Out, you know, again, the end of the string. The last hit does 70 damage instead of 50. So basically, they just buffed the damage of the follow-ups of this string, but this is mostly in the buzzed variation, because if you notice, these 2 moves are a variation specific, but this one is just throughout all the variations. That one has a little bit more damage, which is cool, I guess. Okay, so this next one is pretty interesting. It says Head Victim Region adjusted while performing Infested. So this move is Infested. So that's her anti-air. So I noticed this throughout most of the characters. The moves that are anti-airs, they mention something about the head victim range. Now I'm assuming that means the head range, like the height of their hitbox, is lowered, so it makes it a more consistent anti-air. So that's pretty good. I think they stealth buffed anti-airs. Well, not really stealth buffed, but they buffed anti-airs for each character. Well, not every character, but some of the characters that kind of needed it. Now, even though this was already a godlike anti-air anyway, she didn't really need that buff, but whatever. Making anti-airs better, I never have a complaint with that. I think that's a good thing. Okay, so this is cool. They made Swarm, which is this move here, that breaks armor and has a different hit effect. So normally this move is like +4 on hit, and then even like if you do it out of the air, it's still +4. But if you do it on armor break, it's actually a lot more plus. So let me put them to break armor and check this out. You see, now I'm +9, so now she's even more plus if she does that from an armor break, so that's pretty cool. And this last one's pretty cool. It's like Widow's Kiss, which is this one here, the combo extender. They basically made it have less combo scaling. So basically, it just does more damage like when you enhance it and stuff. So like combos like this or whatever should do like a little bit more damage. So that's cool, it helps. Alright, so moving on to Erron Black. So his first change, High Noon, which is this one right here, 1-1. Let's see what it says. It says you can cancel out of it 1 frame earlier, has 4 more recovery frames on hit, 2 less recovery frames on block, and 1 more frame of recovery on miss. So on block it makes it better, it's only -3. It says it has more like recovery on hit. So let's see, on hit, probably not as good. I don't remember what it was, but on hit it's +9, so I mean that's still a decent stagger, so I guess that's fine. Okay, so next one is Violent Ends, which is this one here, 114. It now has 2 less recovery frames. So I'm assuming that means it's better on block and on hit and stuff like that. So I mean that's good because this move has a flawless block gap in it, so it makes it slightly better so people will actually use it. But people will not use it if the opponent can flawless block, because you can still get flawless blocked and punished, so this doesn't really matter. And this one, I'm not sure what it means. It says adjusted the opponent's victim region during the hit reaction of Spring Revolver. That's this one. So I don't know what that really means, the victim range. If that means maybe how far they're pushed back, how close they're pushed back. It says adjusted, so it doesn't specify if it makes it closer, further, better. It doesn't really say, it just says it's adjusted, so who knows what that means. This move does have a follow-up in the other variation, so maybe it has something to do with that. Okay, so this next one involves a bunch of strings called like Hideout, Smells Like, whatever. Those are all the strings in 52 card pickup to where he's able to shoot his guns from his normals. Like he does like, I believe it's 3-4 or 3-2, something like that, where he's able to shoot guns without using, his locked and loaded. So all those, they made the damage on block be correct. It probably didn't do as much as it should have, so now they made it do the correct damage. So this one is cool. They made Acid Pour, which is this special move right here, come out in 13 frames, which you see how quick this is. It used to come out in 17 frames. It has 1 less active frame, which is not a big deal because you're going to use that in combos anyway. It recovers 6 frames faster on block, which that is a big freaking deal, and 2 frames faster on miss. So it's a little bit easier to he's less likely to get whiff punished, so that's kind of whatever. But check this out. Look how safe this crap is. He is -9. So he can do this string in this variation, and he's only -9. Nobody's punishing him from this distance with -9, so that is amazing. They actually made this variation to have the ability to be safe, which is amazing. It used to be like Punish City, and the only way he could make it safe was in his 52 card pickup, using the Scud Shot and spending a bar. In this variation, he don't gotta spend no bar. He can just do the special move raw, no meter, no risk. That is very strong. That is very, very good. And speaking of this move, now it also breaks armor. So let me have the opponent break, and let me show you how much damage this crap does if they try to break. So if you try to avoid some damage, you actually get like crushing blowed really bad, because the only way this could actually crushing blow normally, they had to be in the acid and then you can do it, which that is kind of hard to set up, to be honest. So this gives a much more legit way to get this crushing blow, and that's freaking good because you can do this combo anyway. You don't have to really worry about the breaker or anything. You're not going to do anything different. Even if you want to spend EX, you can just do that. So this is actually a very practical armor breaker. And this one's cool. It says Nether Beast Trap recovers faster, 10 frames faster, which Nether Beast Trap is the his trap move, which is this thing. So let's see. It recovers in 18 frames. So that's pretty good. The startup is really slow. It's just once he puts it down, he recovers quickly. So it makes it harder to punish, which is good at least. Alright, so next ones are Embarking Irons. So they made the TNT toss to recover 3 frames faster. Not recover, I mean start up 3 frames faster. I mean, you know, the startup is 59 frames. I suppose it was like 62 frames before. So now it's 3 frames faster. I mean, okay. It still kind of sucks. I mean, no one's going to want to use TNT anyway. And it has less recovery frames, so that's good. And the Amplify toss now starts 5 frames faster. Now that's actually good because the Amplify has a shot to it. Because if you amplify it, he shoots a gun and then he throws it. So that coming out a little bit faster, that does help. And also with the Amplify, they made so the shot has 21 frames of hit stun. And it has a little bit more hit stun if it hits them out of the air. So with the added hit stun and the faster TNT toss, it actually makes this more legitimate. Like if they get hit by the shot, they're actually like more likely to get hit by the TNT because you recover a little bit faster, the TNT comes out a little bit faster, you know, so you can do more things with that setup. I think it's still kind of meh because you actually have to get hit by that shot, and who's going to get hit by that shot anyway. But, you know, at least it has a little bit more utility. And the next one is Ghost Coins. That's his Fatal Blow. So they made the damage go from 332 to 340. And it only has scaling on the last hit. So basically, the Fatal Blow does not scale until the last hit of the Fatal Blow. So it does even more damage. I don't know why they buffed his godlike Fatal Blow to be even more godlike. But I guess they felt it was necessary. So they did. And then the last one is Reload. Which is, you know, when you pull your gun or whatever. Fire some shots. And then you hit reload. It's just to where when you hold up during reload, it just puts the gun away. So it says it's to make it consistent with how it is with like other variations, I guess. So they probably just made it consistent with everything else. So that's cool. Alright, so moving on to Miss Frost. So again, they changed a lot of her normals. So Icy Maw, I forgot what that one is. Okay, so that's her back 2. They made it do 50 damage instead of 30. So they buffed the damage, which that's going to be a recurring theme with this character. Out Cold is another one. I think that's the follow-up if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, this is the whole string. It makes the last 2 hits do more damage. The last 2 hits do 67.5 damage instead of 58.5. So that's cool or whatever. So they made Chest Cold, which is her down 3, could be low and high parried. Again, another fix. I mean, they're still keeping this a godlike anti-air, which I'm glad they do because we need good anti-airs in this game so people can stop jumping. I'm talking to you, all my Lao player friends. Stop jumping, please. Thank you. And this is what's cool. Cyberhead, which is this stuff that freaking breaks armor, which I like that. That's pretty cool. So let's see how that works. So you can actually get a combo off this. Now, I don't really know Frost combos, but I'm assuming, like, let me try to get this. Oh, whatever, you get the idea. So point is, if you know they're gonna break, you can do this head thing. It causes like a juggle state, and then if you actually know how to play Frost and don't suck like I do, you could actually get a pretty cool combo. And this next one is this Certainty Crushing Blow, the Augur. Now, once the Crushing Blow is performed, you're a little bit closer, so that's cool. Okay, so this next one's interesting. So it fixes Winter Waves, which is the end of this string right here. It makes it so it doesn't trade when it's not supposed to, because it was trading with some attacks when it really shouldn't have. So they just fixed that, and the other ones are just some rare issues or whatever they said they fixed. Alright, so now we're at my good old friend Geras. Alright, so Gauntlet Slam, which is this move here basically. Another one that says now it can be low and high parried. I guess for some reason it couldn't be parried. Now it can. Excellent. Liu Kang buffs for days. Okay, so this one's cool. It says the Sand Trap, and then the other Quicksand, which is either the Quicksands like that. It breaks armor and has an increased hit region when the opponent is in a combo, and has an alternative Crushing Blow condition. Oh, that's so basically it Crushing Blows if the opponent breaks out of a combo. So if you do something like this, let me get it right. So not like Crushing Blows. So if you want to spend it like that, that's cool. Like in Eternal Geras, this Crushing Blow. Let me see the requirement. I mean, I know it was kind of different. It says that the opponent is stand blocking, which that's not going to happen because if you actually lab and know that you can fuzzy this and fuzzy this, you're not going to get caught like stand blocking. it makes it unlikely to be caught stand blocking. I mean, it could happen, like if you're trying to approach and you're wave dashing forward and blocking, and then you get caught by that. So it could happen, but this gives you a much easier way to do it if you read your opponent's gonna break. Now this one's cool. Punishing crushing blows affect Geras when he's using the reverse time thing. If he uses this or whatever, like during the middle of a combo, if you punish him for it and you have that punish have like a crushing blow property to it, it will do the punish crushing blow. It counts as a punish state crushing blow, so that's good. It didn't used to actually do that. And the other ones are some visual issues with Geras, so nothing too special. So let's move on to Jacqui. Alright, so this one, it's a big one. Train to Kill, which is back to 2-2, does correct damage on block. Oh my god. I don't know if that means it does more or less. I don't really know, probably less, because I think this used to do more damage, but whatever. This one's interesting. It says it adjusted the opponent's victim region when hit by step kick, which step kick is forward 3. Which let me just show you here. So it adjusted the region during hit. Don't know what that means, makes it better or worse. They keep doing these kind of buffs. Probably just makes the string more consistent. So I guess we need a -2 string, -2, -2. Let's make a very godlike string even more consistent. I like it. Let's continue. So now the air dive bomb, this breaks armor, which is okay. That's a very interesting move to make break armor. So let me have the opponent do like a delayed breakaway, or like I honestly have to make them do a late breakaway. Otherwise, I'm not even gonna get this to work, because if they break away like immediately, it doesn't actually work because it's kind of slow. So that's cool. So now you can do that. But if they do like a breakaway immediately, you can't actually do that, because you still have to like have enough time to jump and then do that. So they have to do like a little bit of a late breakaway, but most people don't break away immediately, so you can still utilize that. It's not too bad. Now this next one says Hyper Knee now breaks armor. Now I looked through all these moves and all the variations. I don't see nothing called Hyper Knee. Now I do remember there's a custom move where Jacqui lunges at you with her knee or whatever. So I'm assuming it means that one, and that one is the armor breaker move. But we're not really concerned with custom variations. I mean, if you guys are, I mean, that's cool. But like most people, just focus on the tournament stuff, including myself. So don't worry about that one. Now this one, I thought they fixed already. Maybe they didn't. It said the landing recovery can no longer be circumvented with cross-up jump into special moves. So for example, if you do stuff like this into like Shrapnel Blast or whatever, it used to make it like more plus. You see, look, now I'm 32 frames. I press the Shrapnel Blast like right as I'm landing. It's only 23 frames, so it's less plus. And basically, what I'm doing, if you're not really noticing, is like I'm doing basically this move, but like I'm doing it so low to the ground that it doesn't come out. It used to make you more plus. Now it doesn't do that anymore. Now I thought they fixed that, but apparently they didn't, and they're just doing another patch note saying the same thing. So I guess now they actually did fix it better. And the other one, they fixed some visual clipping issues or whatever with this version of Jacqui with this costume, so that's cool. Alrighty, so it's time for Jade, and they did some pretty cool stuff for her. I like it. Okay, so for this one, they made Pole Strike, which is her back one, have 5 more frames of block stun and increased pushback. Now this move was always very punishable, and if you look, it's still punishable. It's -10. So if they do it like in your face, it's still unsafe. Like, and the follow-up is also unsafe. But now they made it so, like, from spaced ranges or whatever, like -10 from here, you're not going to get punished. So they made it a more usable mid, so that's good. Now this one's actually a nerf, even though it doesn't really seem like it. So it says for the wiggle stick, like the last hit of it causes 5 more frames of block stun, it increases the pushback, but you also have 5 more frames of recovery on block. So basically, it makes you have to sit there for 5 frames longer after this move, and it also makes the opponent have to sit there for 5 frames longer after this move. So they did not change the frame data, but what they did was they changed the time that both of you guys are able to move. The reason why that's a nerf is, you see how the last hit is usually like -13, up close, still -13. So the point is, it's minus and it's punishable. So it gives your opponent more time to be able to punish it. So it makes it a little bit more risky to throw out. Now, I mean, not every character can punish it, but every character from that range is able to at least check Jade before she can press a button when she's -13. So that's actually a nerf to her. Now this next one, Bending Time, as you see, that's this very specific string that's in her Untamable variation. The last hit does a little bit extra damage. It does 70 instead of 50, but I still would never do that if I were you, because if they block this string, you're minus 10, and then if you just like stagger it here, you're minus 5, so that's kind of a whatever buff. Okay, so this next buff is very amazing if you guys don't realize it. So this is her IP string, that's her double overhead. So for her double overhead, they adjusted how the gravity works. So as you know, normally, if they're standing, you can do your B&B combo or whatever. I just stuck with Jade, so I don't know how to do it. But you can do your B&B combo, and that works fine. But if your opponent is in a jumping state, and you hit them with this, you had absolutely no way you can combo. But that's no longer the case. So I'm going to have Jax to jump, and check this out. So not always, but sometimes now you're actually able to combo with a glow kick afterwards. You weren't always able to do that. They used to recover really fast when you hit them out of the air with this. So that's a pretty decent buff. I like it. So this next one, Baited, which is this string here, has 7 less recovery frames. It didn't really change anything on block, like it's still minus 6. It just probably recovers faster as your opponent also recovers faster. So the opponent has to react a little bit faster to check you. That's what it seems like, so that's kind of whatever. And this one's cool. So they made this move here, the Blazing Nitro Kick, that now breaks armor. So that's really good. So let me show you how that works. Now I stole that from KHD's tweet, I'm not gonna lie, but that is freaking cool that you can do that. Now normally that would break faster and you would just, do it like that. But point is, that's a really good move, and I like that armor breaker. It's a very practical one. Okay, the next one is Sidekick, which is her back 3. They said they fixed the issue with this hit region being incorrect when done as a cancel from pole bash. I'm not sure what pole bash is. It says, jump back punch, so it's from her jump kick or whatever. And the other one just fixed some other bug fixes, so no big deal. Alright, so moving on to my boy Jax. So quick drill is this move. Again, they just made it so it can be parried by low and high parry, so that's alright. Okay, so this next set of buffs made this one better. So they made boot camp, like the second hit of this, do 50 damage when it used to do 30, which is alright. Then they made the follow-up to that string, which is called Sleep Yacht. Now the follow-up does 100 damage, 90 damage instead of 100 damage. So they buffed this part of the string, like the second hit, while they nerfed the third hit, which at the end of the day, leaves it at the exact same damage. Now I'm kidding, it actually gives it a little bit more damage, because since they buffed the first part, the scaling is better, so it was a little bit more. They just nerfed the second part, so it wouldn't be absurdly higher, but whatever. No one really uses the string anyway, so whatever. Now this one's cool. It reduced the combo damage scaling from Ripped Amplify, which Ripped is his overhead combo starter thing, which is, let me find it for y'all, is this one here. So basically this has less combo scaling now, which that's fine or whatever, so he has a little bit more damage. Gives people more of a reason to want to use this variation. So they made a change to this move called Briggs Brigade, which is this one here, which is like his projectile parry. So now the active frames are 19 frames instead of 24 frames. So it has 5 less frames to where it absorbs projectiles, but the trade-off is it recovers 5 frames faster. So that means you're less likely to get punished for doing this move. So overall, I consider that a buff. And then the amplified version of this recovers faster. And what the amplified does is it just makes your projectile that you absorb give you twice the amount of heat that you normally gain, and you can only amplify it when you absorb a projectile. So this next one's cool. So for this Burning Hammer, which is basically, I forgot which variation, he had like a move where he jumps up and grabs you out of the air. I think it's either his first or second variation. So they reduced his head hitbox range. So again, they made that move a more consistent anti-air. Okay, so this next one is this Lethal Clap, which I think it's that one. Yeah, this one. So they made this one have like 2 more active frames and 2 less recovery frames on miss. So that's a small buff to this move. And they also gave it like an armor break factor. And it also recovers faster when it does break armor. So that's pretty cool. So it's nothing all that special, to be honest, but at least it does something. Probably in the corner, it leads to like actual combos and stuff like that, but otherwise it's kind of meh mid-screen. And the other one are just minor bug fixes, so let's go on to the next character. Alright, so for my boy Johnny Cage, they did a number on this man. They took him down a notch. I'm glad they finally did. He needed to be nerfed a bit, so let's get into it. So fix in the post. That is one of his plus strings. This one. Okay, alright, cool. Oh, it's only +1. It's only +1. That shit used to be +6. So you used to be able to do into more of this. But no. Stop, Johnny. His plus frames are no more. They took care of this man. And there's other one, string cage match. This one here. This one also used to be +6. Oh, wait, top +1? Only +1. Screw you, Johnny. Excellent stuff. Alright, straight fireball now. There's something to this. How plus is this? Wait, it's only +1. Yes. Okay, so basically they finally nerfed Johnny's plus frames. They were really redonkulous. I mean, he still has some plus frames, but they're not as like insane as they were before. So at least he's more of a balanced character now, so that's actually good. And then they made flippy kick break armor, just kind of whatever. But anyway, so let's put him to break armor. So you do something like this. Like take him off block for a second. So I mean, that's alright, that's whatever. I mean, you could still probably better off doing uppercut or whatever, but you know, that works. Get some damage. Nothing special, no crushing blow, no restand or anything, but at least it's something. So then they made his nut punch so you can parry it, like do lower high parries. It's another parry fix. And then they fixed some other rare issues. One of them mainly with the shadow kick to make sure it doesn't trade when it's not supposed to trade. Alright, so for my man Kabal, they made the head victim range of the hook grab, which was this one adjusted. So again, I'm imagining that's making this a more consistent anti-air, which is a good thing. Then they made hook slam only do 100 damage, which is this move. It used to do 109.5 apparently, and now it only does 100. But they nerfed it, but you're gonna see why. Because even though they nerfed the damage, it no longer has extra combo scaling before the final hit. So basically it has less scaling. Because you notice this has like 2 hits, right? So now that doesn't have scaling in between that, so that's good. And then also hook slam now actually breaks armor. So that's pretty cool. So you break armor and you get a crushing blow out of it. Now remember, this crushing blow, it used to pop you up. So when you break armor, you don't get a pop-up. But I'm just going to put like easy crushing blow so you can see that they haven't changed it. So like normally when you get a crushing blow with this, it pops up and you know you can do a combo or whatever. So you're not going to get like ridiculous combos. I mean, can you imagine do something like this or whatever? You know, you do a combo, then they break away late, and then you hit them with this, you get them in a crushing blow, and then you reset the combo again. That'd be a little bit too ridiculous. So that's why they made this crushing blow on breakaway, just do the flat damage and that's it, because otherwise it'd be too ridiculous. Now the next one, they made hook slam amplify do 100 damage instead of 102, and it doesn't have any extra damage scaling. So basically, you know, the whole amplify does 140. It's just the second hit, as you can see, does 100. So that's what it's referring to. The second hit did a little bit more. But then again, they fixed the scaling. So in combos, it's going to do roughly the same damage. Maybe a little more, maybe a little less. But that's what they did. So this one is interesting. So they increased the combo damage scaling from hook slam and hook slam amplify crushing blows. So basically, this crushing blow here, they increased the damage scaling, meaning it does a little bit less damage. I mean, it makes sense. He was able to get like 700 damage with the use of Fatal Blow. A little bit ridiculous, so they wanted to tone that down a little bit, so that's what they did. Okay, so the next one has to do with this Nomad Spin, which is this one here. They made it so it only causes damage scaling on the final hit, so I guess it means the scales less. I guess that's fine, whatever. And then it says each attack now has 10 more frames of block stun. So, I mean, on block, it's kind of whatever, -6. Maybe it was more minus before. Probably was punishable before, but now it's safe, so it's kind of whatever. And then the amplified version now has, you know, only has damage scaling on the final hit and now has 5 more frames of block stun, which you can't even enhance it on block like that. You can only enhance it like on whiff, and then the enhanced version has more range. So that, as you can see, is -1. I mean, that's kind of whatever. I mean, no one's really going to use that move anyway. And now extended hook, which is this move, it does 90 damage now instead of like 116.5. So it's a little bit less damage, but then it no longer causes damage scaling on the first hit. So again, they nerfed the damage of the move overall, but then they reduced the combo scaling. So meaning in a combo, this is probably going to do about the same damage. is just when you do it randomly in neutral, it's going to be less damaging, which is kind of good because this move is kind of obnoxious as it is. It's like very hard to punish. Like, I'm going to put them to block. I'm going to do it right in their face. This crap is only -12, and look how much pushback. So most characters are not going to punish it. So they want to reduce the reward for just throwing it out there for no reason. And the other one is just some bug fixes they did. Alright, so for my boy Kabal, basically all the buffs revolve around this one move here. They made this faster, better, and armor break. So that's all they really did. So they adjusted the victim region during a hit reaction. Another one of those things, probably just fixes how it hits, you know, makes it go as it's supposed to, combo better with special moves or whatever. They made the cancel frame 5 frames earlier, has 5 less recovery frames on miss, so it's still a better move. And they made it now that it breaks armor. So I'm gonna have the opponent break. So that's kind of whatever. You can do something like that. It's a restand that +5. I mean, it's kind of whatever. I mean, let's see how much damage this actually gets you if you do it right. Hold on. So that's a total of 177. But if you really want more damage from a break, you can just do that, and they're still in your face anyway. Just the only benefit of using this armor break is that you get a restand, but then you're losing out on damage. So I think it's pretty bad, to be honest, but well, that's all they did for Kano. Okay, so for Kitana, they buffed some of her strings that are pretty much unusable. So the last hit of Leave Now, let me go to her Leave Now string, which is this one here. They made it a little bit better on block. Now it has 5 more frames of block stun with more pushback. So this was actually punishable before, but now you see it's -7, so it's much better. And this next string punishment has 5 more frames of block stun, which is this one here. Hold on. Which you never see any Kitana in life ever use this string once. But now they're trying to make it actually safe so people could actually use it. I don't think anyone will, but now people can use it and not die for it. And the last one was Square Wave, which is this one, now actually breaks armor, and it gets a crushing blow if it breaks armor. So that's actually really good, because the requirement before was that you had to be like punishing something full screen or whatever, which is kind of ridiculous, never actually gonna happen. So you can do stuff like this. So that's nice, gives you a way to get a crushing blow. And it's actually not so bad. I mean, ending the combo with this is like pretty decent. It's not so bad. Still get good damage. So that's actually a pretty good breaker she got. Well, anyway, guys, that's about it for the video today. If you guys enjoyed, just make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter. Follow me on Twitch. And I'll see you guys next time.